I'm pulling the motor to switch cams and do a complete race port on the head. Currently it has a standard port head. I'm looking for anything out of the ordinary, inspecting the cams, the buckets. Then I'm going to put the larger cams in and check for the piston to valve clearance a little later on. Overall, the buckets look pretty damn good. Pretty easy to get out. Cold leak down. Pretty good leak down with the piston all the way down in the bottom. Number 2. Still pretty good, less than 5%. Number 3. Okay, everything looks crisp. This is the bearings. This is 1. And this is 4. This is 2. Looks really good. 3 looks good. Out of block. I mean, it's decent. Decent still. Looks pretty good. Looks like shit went through the freaking oil, but nothing went through it. Looks good. That one looks like it's barely touching. That looks good. The only thing that's worn, let me put two nuts on this bastard here. See, the gasket was sealing beautifully. The only thing we see is the wear. The wear on the thrust side. It's like polished right now. I mean, you can't feel it, but you can see it. See it? We had already honed this out a little bit. So I was seeing some, the oil was black on the bottom of the pan, but clear on top. So I put the custom grind cams in. Now I'm checking for piston to valve clearance. So I tested the pressures on the coil springs that's been in there for a while. The original spec is looking good. I put a dummy engine in so I can mock up the 4-inch titanium up pipe. I'm going to fabricate a split system in there. So making my own transition because it's a tie radius. I don't have a silicone piece that's big enough to actually fit on the back of this, so I was just using some silver tape and trying it, and it's beautiful. While I'm waiting for the machine shop, I decided to fabricate a new catch can and get rid of my old twin system. This one is a single, which should hold over 2 quarts of oil, and it will have a ball valve on the bottom so I can drain it separately. That way the oil and the water and the fuel is not recirculating through the engine. I'll have 4 breathers on it. Kind of looks good in black, so I'm going with the black theme now. Picked up all the parts from the machine shop. Fan was great. He just checked the block, just touched the hone. Still a full jacketed water jacket block. It's not filled. Double checked the bearings. Could have reused the old bearings, but went with new bearings. Same with the rods. Existing CP piston, everything is existing. The 5S crank, you just polished that, check for balance. Check the bearings on that, sized them. He did some nice cleaning up, port and polish. Put new valve seats on the exhaust side. I'll just change the valves just to be sure. Existing intake valves. Just have to size those rings, file the ring gaps, and love it. Looks great. Just have to put all of that and that onto that. No big deal. Custom grind cams. So started the assembly. It's all torqued down. ARP lube. Standard caps. Smooth like butter. Thought I'd start putting the block together. Check the bearings. Well, basically checked everything. Check the backlash, everything's good. The thrust, everything is fine. Standard caps, always had standard caps. Just ARP mains, ARP lube. But it spins like butter, either way. Beautiful. Well, got many years out of this. Hope to get many more. Spins nice and smooth. To make sure everything goes smoothly, I lube up the head studs and run them all in. Make sure everything's good. Lube up the nuts. And then when I put them in the head, I lube up the washers. Okay. Cloak and dagger spec head gasket. No O-ring. Obviously not a fill block either. I guess you can call this a long block now. All torqued down. Just got to check the lash since it's bolted to the block. And we're good to go. All right, check the lash, and I'm going to put the Toyota fibbage on the front caps. Since these are new cams, they got the braking grease on them. I also am going to fill them up with oil when I prime the pump. And I'm making note that it's on the number 1 side. So it's finally all together. This is the V&M Racing cylinder head. Got those beautiful beryllium exhaust seats on there. on top dead center, and the intake cams are dialed in. Time to move on to the exhaust side. Well, now the exhaust is all dialed in. It's ready to go. This contraption is so great. I love it. Okay, it's time to mount the transmission onto the engine, but first I have to put the flywheel on, obviously, and the clutch. So what I'm gonna do is put the flywheel on and then check the run out, make sure everything is cool. Then I can put the transmission on. All right, so I temporarily put the flywheel on, torque the bolts to 60 pounds. There is no tread lock on it. I'm just going to check the run out, and I'm going to pull each bolt out and then put Loctite on it. So right now we're centered at path. We have indicator at 0. We're going to do 1 complete revolution, and then we can see how much total run out we have. I guess 8,000 is acceptable. So we'll see what this does. About 1. Well, not really. So 2.5, 3 thou. I think that's pretty acceptable. We're good to go. Time to put on the clutch cover and the clutch after I torque down the flywheel bolts with Loctite. Well, it's much easier to put the transmission on first, then the transfer case. Put it in gear. Any gear. for the first drive. Now I'm going to do the first oil change. I run a paper filter before I put the stainless steel filter back on. Everything looks good. Now to cut it open. So I ran everything without the oil cooler on. I have my sandwich plate here. Put it back in. Hook the oil cooler back up. Everything looks good. Everything's marked the way I had it before. And stainless steel rebuildable. Let's take it apart and look at it at a glance. Good to go. Looks pretty good.